Hello, good morning. Welcome. I am going to kind of pause here for a minute or two for people to roll in this morning. Glad to have you join us. People are coming in. Saw we had a couple of registrations just within the last few minutes, and so glad to have the extra people come on board. As is often the case, we have people that don't join the first few minutes that while I'm talking, and then join when we have the main speaker come up. And so that's okay. Don't need to listen necessarily to me, but glad to have you here. Well, I'm going to get started, and others are continuing to roll in, and I hope everybody can join us. But my name is 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙧 𝙅𝙤𝙗. Welcome to our Minnesota Crossroads Career Network webinar this morning. I just realized I forgot to put the background up with our logo in the back, but that's okay. We'll do with this morning. But glad you're here, and I know you're here to hear Sherry Anderson talk about AI for your job search, and it's going to be a pretty insightful presentation for you. I've got a couple of things before that I want to cover for you. I want to share something, a little bit of reflection, and then got a short video for you that I hope will be give you something to think about and inspirational. But then we'll get to Sherry, and then after that, I also want to give you an overview of everything else that we offer through Crossroads. It's all free. I really encourage you to take advantage of the things that can help in your job search. Sherry and I were talking before we got on this morning about the fact that what an emotional roller coaster this process is of looking for a job, right? And getting some moral support and encouragement and hope in the process is incredibly important. It's tough to go it alone. And if you're staring at a computer screen all day, it just gets draining pretty quickly, right? And so we just hope that we can provide both the practical and tactical help for your job search, as well as just some support and encouragement in this process to help you keep your attitude up to a level that makes you as appealing to an employer as possible. Our hope, as I say, with Crossroads is to provide the best help and resources for your job search as we can, but also pointing to the encouragement and hope in Jesus Christ. There's a perspective in the Bible that I think is important to rely on when going through challenging times in life, like a job search, right? It's the idea that always having an attitude of gratitude, no matter what circumstances we might be going through. In Scripture, it says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." It doesn't say give thanks for all circumstances. You don't have to give thanks necessarily for losing your job, although I do know many people that ultimately do, because it kind of pushed them into something that ended up being much, much better. But the idea is that no matter what circumstances you find yourself in, be deliberate in maintaining a thankful heart and grateful attitude. It's easy for us to focus on the things that aren't going the way we want in our lives and take for granted or forget about all the things that are good. If we have a roof over our heads, food in the refrigerator, a healthy body, family, friends, resources, a community we can turn to for support, we have much, much more than a large percentage of people in the world out there. Having an attitude of gratitude makes us less stressed, happier, more willing to help others, more likable, and frankly, more attractive to potential employers. They don't want to hire somebody that's discouraged and drained, right? I encourage you to take the time to sit down and literally list all the good things in your life. Put them down on paper. Then acknowledge that all good things come from God and thank Him for it. It makes a big difference when you put things in proper perspective. We can be thankful that the God that created the universe came in the human form of Jesus Christ to give us a means to be in relationship with Him like never before. That's the first thing to be thankful for. And that's the only thing that'll bring eternal joy into your life, regardless of what else is happening in your life right now. Let me open in a word of prayer, then we'll move on with our other material this morning. Lord, I just thank you, as always, in these webinars that we can come together, and even though we can't see each other on the screen right now, we just pray that you use this time for your purposes, that you give everyone what they need this morning, whether it's hope and encouragement or comfort or good practical tools to be able to be more effective in their search. And we pray that you provide each person what they need individually. You understand their needs and concerns and true issues better than we each understand them for ourselves. Father, we just pray that use this time for your purposes, and we're grateful for this opportunity to come together. In Jesus' name, amen. With that, I want to share, let me share my screen here, a brief video by Tim Keller. He passed away a couple of years ago now, unfortunately, but really thinking about what is, I just realized something else. Hang on just a moment. I need to close something else here on my screen that's not closing. I'm sorry for the delay. It's not going away. All right. Well, you'll see a little tag on the side of the screen that's not supposed to be there, but that's okay. Sorry about this. But what is our identity? And for so many people, it's our careers, but that's a dangerous thing. And it's not who we really are. Let me play this and then reconnect after.
What's identity?
Harry, we can't hear the sound.
Sorry about that. I forgot to click a button here. I will give this one more try. Believe it or not, we'll actually get this right before the end of the morning.
What's identity? It's a sense of self and a sense of worth. What makes you feel significant? What makes you confident of your value? And if you have a sense of self and a sense of worth, we say you've got a real identity. It's an illusion to say that my identity comes from my inner feelings. People say it all the time. This is who I am. You decide who you are. Benjamin Nugent, in an essay, the New York Times said this: when good writing was my only goal in life, I made the quality of my work the measure of my worth. And then he said, for this reason, I wasn't able to read my own writing well. I couldn't tell whether something I had just written was good or bad. I needed it for it to be good in order to feel sane. I lost the ability to cheerfully interrogate how much I liked what I had written, to see what was actually on the page rather than what I would have liked to have seen or what I feared to see. In other words, when you make anything your identity, when you make a career your identity, or a particular body your identity, or a particular love relationship your identity, those things stop being good things and they start to crush you. In other words, he wanted to write, that's a good thing. He should have written. But when the writing was his identity, he said, I made the quality of my work the measure of my worth, and to feel sane, I had to look at anything I wrote and said, this is great. So I couldn't actually look at it realistically, and I couldn't certainly hear criticism. It's crushing. It's absolutely crushing. You know the place where C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity says, we're not really proud of having money, we're proud of having more money than the next person? We're not really proud of being smart, we're proud of being smarter. If you are the best violinist in your little town in Texas, and then you go to New York City and you get off at Penn Station and you realize the person who's playing the violin and begging, and people are throwing money in the violin case, is better than you. And suddenly that high self-esteem you had because you were the best violinist in your town goes down into the toilet. Why? Because ultimately, any identity that's achieved rather than received has to be excluding. In other words, you feel better because these other people aren't as good as you. These other people aren't as enlightened as you. These other people aren't as liberal as you. These people aren't as conservative as you. These people aren't as hardworking as you. These people aren't as insightful as you. That's how you feel good about yourself, by looking at other people and trashing them. And that's how it's going to work. So what kind of identity do we need? Here's what we need. You can't take yourself and bless yourself and name yourself. You need recognition. You need somebody from outside to come in and speak to you. I know we say, no, we don't need that. Of course, we're social beings, we're relational beings. We have to do that. Even when I see people online say, I have done this and my family's rejected me, but I know who I am and this is who I am, and suddenly thousands of people on social media are cheering them. They just got, well, they didn't just say, I have decided who I want to be. No, they have a new set of cheerleaders. They just took the old set of cheerleaders and just said, forget it, I want to be part of this set. You have to have a word from outside. Somebody's got to name you. And let me go a little further. What kind of person should this be, or what kind of people should this be? Well, you need the love, and you need the approval, and you need the esteem of someone you esteem if you're going to have any self-esteem. This person, whoever it is, should not be someone who could ever let you down or disillusion you. If you get your self-worth from the academy or from the art world or from individuals or from a loved one or something like that, what happens when they disillusion you, which they might? Where does your self-worth go? This also can't be a person who's fickle, somebody who's up and down with you, depending on how well you perform. Think about this. If it's really true that the praise of the praiseworthy is above all rewards, that you only if you have the esteem of someone you esteem will you have self-esteem. Only if you have the adoration of someone who adores you, then to know that God loves you, the Lord of the universe loves you, that would have to give you the most powerful basis for a stable identity possible. And secondly, is it based on your performance? No. If it's not based on your performance, it's not only stable, but you don't need to look down your nose at everybody else around you. In other words, the excluding aspect of your identity goes away. So how do you get that? You're adopted into God's family. That's a new identity, right? You are a citizen of heaven, Philippians 3:20. That's a new identity, right? You're united to Christ. That's a new identity, right? But I gotta say, when I just talk to you about it like that, in fact, when I just talk to myself about it like that, it's kind of abstract. But Jesus doesn't name us simply by showing up and giving us a new name or saying you're mine. He dies for us. So you lose the excluding aspect of modern identity. So you have something stable, so you have something coherent, so you know who you are. So you have an identity not achieved, which is crushing, but received. How do you do that? You got to believe he died for you. He says so. I lay down my life for my sheep. He doesn't just show up and give you a name. He dies for you. It's got to go to your imagination. It's got to be the aesthetic core of your life. You've got to learn how, when you're struggling with what the culture says about your identity, because you're not good looking enough, you're not smart enough, you're not having enough transformative sex, you're not this, you're not that. You've got to know how to pull out your identity in Christ and push it to the top of the deck. And you do that generally through imagination. I had a friend of mine some years ago that realized he was extraordinarily upset about the fact that he went to the kind of schools and he had the kind of background, and all of his colleagues had made a tremendous amount of money and had high status, and he was in a missionary ministry job and didn't have that kind of status, and he realized it was getting at him. He realized he needed to put Jesus' identity at the top of his deck, as it were. And he suddenly one day was reading in Philippians chapter 2, where it says, in the old King James, though he was in the form of God, he didn't count equality with God a thing to be grasped, but he made himself of no reputation. And it went to the man's heart. And he says, Jesus Christ lost everything. He was crucified outside the gate. He made himself of no reputation. He did that for me. Why in the world am I worried about my status and my reputation? And he was freed. See, what he did was he took it to the center of his imagination, not just here I believe it. If you don't get it into your imagination, and if you don't do it regularly through worship, through thinking, through applying it at the moment, it doesn't go to the top, and you're back into where everybody else is, cultural captivity. How are you getting through your imagination what Jesus Christ has done for you down to a naming level in your heart?
There we go. I've known, especially through Crossroads and other facets, that people that their entire identity is about their career. I'm an accountant. I'm a software developer. I'm whatever it is that you do. And then when they don't have that job, it's hard for them to think about who they are. They don't have that career. And if that's where your identity's tied up, it's going to be a really tough thing to deal with. But realizing that your identity is about a lot of other things, most importantly, if you trust Christ, that it's in him, and that doesn't change regardless of your circumstances. With that, I really am glad to introduce Sherry Anderson. She is joining us this morning online here for her presentation on AI in your job search. And she can tell you certainly about her situation, but she's been in training and development for a number of years, working for some great small companies nobody's ever heard of, like HP and others. And she has experienced, and she'll tell you more about it, but knows what she's talking about in this regard. And so I know you're going to get a lot of great practical help, but some ideas here, hopefully, that will give you some inspiration on how to move forward as well. Sherry, so glad to have you join us, and I'll turn it over to you.
My sincere pleasure. Hold on one second. I'm going to share my screen. I have a fancy pants presentation for you. All right. Uno momento. All right. Do you see my presentation?
Yes.
Excelente. So hello. Good morning. Or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I am very grateful to be here. As Harry said, I'm a learning and development professional, which means I know how to train. I know how to facilitate and coach and develop curriculum. I've been lucky enough to work at some lovely companies like American Express and Ameriprise Financial, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Cray Research, just a whole group of organizations that I was really proud to be in. I've also, had a very lucky career. But the thing that I think is most important for you to know is that I'm in job transition as well. I am someone who is searching for their next, going on their next career adventure. And I'm looking forward to going through that with you. So in terms of job transition, there's two things that I know. I think there's some things that haven't changed, and then there's some things that have. The things that haven't changed are that people are wonderful and want to help you, and you're going to meet lots of wonderful people. The other thing that hasn't changed is I fully expect to get a job that I love, and more than likely a job that I will have equal to a commensurate or more pay on that job based on studies coming out from Forbes. So those are the two things that haven't changed. That's what I expect to be the same. What will be different is how I'm going to get that job. Two things, how I'm going to get that job. The game has changed. It used to be that you were able to go into a job board like Indeed or LinkedIn, see a job for your qualifications. You create a resume that showed off your qualifications, and 20% of the time you got an interview. That's not the case anymore. As you look in LinkedIn, there will be over 400 people having applied for a job. There's a lot of problems with chatbots flooding the going through the ATS systems so that recruiters are overwhelmed. So that path is very difficult to make work. The way you're going to get your job is through networking. It is the name of the game. So there's that. The other thing that has changed is AI. The emergence of AI and the tools for AI to help you in your search has been a force multiplier like you can't believe. It's shaved about 40% off my time to be more productive, to go out there and be meeting with more people as opposed to doing kind of the research and the letter writing, the resume writing. It's all going so much faster, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. Sound okay? Thumbs up? All right. That's what I thought. All right. So we are going to go on a journey, but you didn't know you were going to do it. We are going to go on your path to your dream job using AI. I would like you to imagine that we are all in a position where we are looking for our next role. And as we look for our next role, there's several different phases that we go through, and AI helps each one of the phases. I'm going to go through this journey with you, and then I'm going to demonstrate how these tools work. So the first thing that happens, you found out that you need to move from your old job. And the first thing that needs to happen is probably do some reflection. What do I want to be when I grow up? What's the next stop? Do I want to do the same thing I did last time, or do I want to explore something different? Well, Google Career Dreamer can help you do that. It's a tool that does basically career coaching. And then once I found out, yes, I want to be an organization development manager, then I need to look through and find what kind of companies have those roles. And then I go to ChatGPT, which is, again, a tool. It's a language model, a machine learning tool that basically pulls all the information from the web and puts it together and very quickly to give you advice and how to move forward. So I would go to ChatGPT, I would research those companies, and then once I have the companies, I would do what is really the most important thing. Again, if you do not, there's two things you need to take away from this presentation. One is that networking is critical. Two is that AI is super cool. So let's talk about networking. So once you get to the networking part, you go to LinkedIn and you look through and find connections from these companies that you have either in your first or second rung, and you begin to get a list of people that you want to talk to, and you find out about jobs and you move forward. And then you come back to the point where you're really looking actively for a specific role. And we jump back to ChatGPT. ChatGPT allows you to write networking notes, so those intro notes. It helps you be able to do that. It helps you create resumes. It helps you prepare for interviews, and it creates salary advice. So, and then, of course, after having done all this work, you've got your dream job. So let's do this. Are you guys ready to go on an adventure, a job transition adventure? I know you are. Okay, here we go. So the first step, and just to give you a little feedback, my friend Amy, which is a pseudonym, is also in job transition, and she's given me her permission to use her job situation and her resume as a model for this. So we're going to go through this career journey as if we are Amy. Hold on. I think I have to stop sharing. Harry, do you see LinkedIn?
No, I'm just still
Okay.
seeing your PowerPoint.
Okay. One moment. Okay, do you see my desktop?
Nope, the PowerPoint came back up.
All right. We've got this. Now what do you see? You should see
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Do you see
Yep.
LinkedIn?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, great. Off we're going to go on our adventure. So, as I said, we need to figure out, are you guys ready? Are you ready to go on your career adventure? Dun, dun, dun. I know I am. So I am my friend Amy, and I want to figure out what my next role is. I am not quite sure what kind of titles I look like, what kind of fits there are between my past experience and opportunities that are out there. So I'm going to go to Google Career Dreamer. It is free, which is great. All of these tools are actually free. All of these tools are free. You can also get paid versions, but you do not need to. So very simple. It takes you through a series of prompts. Amy was a having a little trouble typing. Let me. Okay. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. She was in organization development. She was an OD. You can even put in manager and leader coach. So I hit next. It says what company she was in, the medical tree, hospitals. And then I hit next again. It's pulling up what kind of roles or what kind of tasks that role would have. So as a leader and coach, so I would develop, so I'm going to click the responsibilities I had. So this does actually a really pretty good job of listing the things. Amy happened to do all these jobs. All right, and so we hit next. And now it's pulling up, now that we know the tasks, it's going to pull up what are the skills that we need. So you need to put at least 3 skills. So I'm going to pick change management, team leadership, and conflict resolution. I can also add skills. So I'm going to add a skill that she had, questioning skills. So now what it does is it takes the information I put in from my job description, from the responsibilities I have. It takes a look at those skills. And what it does next is it does a couple things. So first of all, it does this handy dandy thing where it creates a career identity statement. This statement is based on what kind of work that you've done in the past and what kind of skills and responsibilities you have. And it's written in kind of a very fun, vivid voice. Not fun, but a very vivid voice. I can also regenerate if I want more tools. I can also copy this and put it on LinkedIn or use it in networking meetings, memorize it and putting in networking meetings. It's a very handy thing. So you can copy and paste that in, but I think the thing that is most important is that I'm going to explore paths. Before I do, let me mention on the left that I can add experience in my education. I can add more skills. So let's assume that we've got all those added. And then I want to explore paths. And what it does, dun, da, 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 it's taking the information that I put into the system so far, and it's taking a look at all the jobs that have similar background, that have the responsibilities and skills that I am looking for. So of all these things, I think organization development consultant is the one that I want to explore. So I'm going to learn more about organization development. So what I do is I copy and paste this clipboard, and it takes me to another tool, just right to another tool called Gemini. And Gemini is going to help us further work on our career choice. It's going to help us act basically as a career coach. So once I get to Gemini, easy peasy, I hit paste. All right, so it's letting me know, thank you for sharing your profile with Dreamer. I'm here to continue the conversation. And it says what an organization development does. It works with different companies that can involve everything from improving internal processes and communication to being a strategic partner. So it gives you a description. And here's some things you can ask me. It gives you prompts that you can ask to explore more about the job. So you can use these generic prompts, which are actually pretty good. And what you do is you just type in the number. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add my resume. I really am. So you use this button over here. I'm going to upload a file. And this is Amy's resume. And so it's going to take the information from the resume, and it's going to tailor the conversation we have to based on my resume to the kind of roles. So here's some things you can ask me. So based on my resume and knowing that I want to be an organization development consultant, it answers, how do my past experiences with culture transformation and strategic planning prepare me for the types of roles? So basically, what is my job? How does my resume compare to the roles that I have? My resume shows multiple senior leadership roles. And then how do I leverage my experiences? So now I can either just go through the prompts and you just type in a number. So I'm going to type in number 2. And what it does is it pulls in an answer to the question. And again, because I put in my resume, it's tailoring the answer. It tells me what skills that I'm going to use. It talks to what assets that I have, and then it takes me further down. You can also ask it questions. So I'm going to type in what are going to be the challenges. One thing I want you to notice as I'm going through this, that the language I'm using is not fancy. I'm literally typing as I go. I'm typing as if I'm a human being. So, based on your resume, the primary challenge is shifting from implementation to advising, building a client base, adapting current industries and cultures. And then what it asks you are, how are some of the best things, how can I best frame my resume? What are the things that I can do? Again, I'm going to type number 1 down here. And it gives me a list of things that I can do to move forward. So I think you get the trip. So what Google Gemini does is it leads you through the process, a similar process that you would go through if you had a human career coach. So I would like you to imagine we have discovered our career. We want to be an organization development person. We've taken a look at our resume. We know what some of the challenges are. Now we're going to ask what of companies have in Minnesota have these roles. So now we're getting serious. We're going to take a look at the job description. So companies within, okay, now one of the things I forgot to put in, you can do this all the time. Notice there was a misspelling. That's okay. It's going to keep moving forward. And it's given me a list of companies that work in the health industry. So for the purposes of this, we're going to pretend that one of the things, so in the purposes of making this work, we're going to pretend like one of the companies that it pulls up is Boston Scientific. So just pretend, use the power of your imagination to assume that there was Boston Scientific. So anyway, it gives you a list of the jobs that are the companies that you want to look for. And so now I'm going to ChatGPT. And again, as I said, ChatGPT, I'm going to go to ChatGPT to hold on. Hold on. It's kind of like Julia Childs when she does her cooking. Some things are I'm pulling up things. So I have a chat that I've already written. Again, the writing is not fancy. You don't have to worry about prompting it perfectly. So I'm looking for a leadership program in the healthcare industry. I want either remote or hybrid in the Twin Cities. And I want to know what job companies I should look into. So it gives me a list of the companies. Okay. Again, for the purposes of this exercise, we're going to pretend as if the company it pulled up was, well, we're going to use United Health Group as the subject. So I now know the company. I've looked in, I've had the career. I know what career I want. I know that United Health Group, or I know that United Health Group might be a good fit. I'm going to see if they have roles. And this helps you pull up which companies have roles. It's searching the web, it's searching LinkedIn. And it looks like Blue Cross Blue Shield has a learning and development consultant role. There's multiple listings for organization development, what other healthcare industries. So I'm going to pull in, so it looks like Blue Cross Blue Shield has a principal OD consultant and an L&D consultant. So that's good to know. So what I'm going to do now that I have companies to look for, I'm going to go over to LinkedIn. And I'm going to stop here for a brief commercial, a brief advertisement for Harry's LinkedIn trainings that he's done. They're awesome. They go into way more detail in terms of how to use LinkedIn than I'm going to, but I'm going to share you the basics and from a LinkedIn place. So I'm going to look at Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm going to type in and it gives me all the information I want from Blue Cross Blue Shield. And what I want to know are what people do I have who work at Blue Cross Blue Shield? And so this brings up a list of, I can do my first rung. Here are people that I know in the first rung who that I can just talk to. It looks like a lot of these, so it looks like Matt Hunt is the current Chief Experience Officer there. In terms of the L&D, I don't know if that's going to be the greatest fit. So I scroll down and see there is 𝙤𝙤𝙗 𝙎𝙤𝙗 is a learning and development or a learning leader. She might have a good sense in terms of that role that I had talked through. Because the best thing you can do is talk to someone on the inside, get their scoop on what the organization is like, what the culture is like, find out a little bit more about what they think that role would need to be successful, ask for advice. And then if it goes well, then you can also ask them, or you can see if they would be willing to make a connection with you to the recruiter. The other thing you can do, even if there's not a job currently posted, if I really liked Blue Cross Blue Shield, I thought it was a great company, and I wanted to work there in the future, there's tons of things I can do. I could talk to my friend, Joanne, and I can find out more about the company. She'll keep it in mind. She can give me advice to talk to other people in the company, and you can slowly build your network of people in Blue Cross Blue Shield so that everyone's looking for you in Blue Cross Blue Shield for an opportunity. So that's another way to work. I want to really strongly encourage you to take that method, even if there's not a job available. If there's a company you like, really start looking into them for talking to people in your network who have that, who work at that job. Follow them on LinkedIn. Go talk to, if you don't have any first connections, go to second rung connections and ask for one of the ask for introductions. So for instance, Ann Loughsby, although she is not a first rung person, actually this job looks like it might be someone who would be directly related to that role. She would be a great person for me to talk to, always to get advice. Never say, hi, do you have a job? But always to get advice. So I might want to talk to Ann. And Nate Caskey is one of my friends, so I would reach out to Nate and ask him to make a recommendation. So I'm going back. Hopefully this isn't too fast, but I'm going to go back to the list of the first people, the first connections. And I'm going to go to the 𝙤𝙤𝙗 𝙎𝙤𝙗, and through the magic of okay. So I'm going to write a note to Joanne. So I'm just typing. So I'm typing in my prompt. Give me a second. So so part of what ChatGPT allows me to do is that now that I have connections that I want to talk to, I jump back to ChatGPT and I'm able to use it a lot through this networking process. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, and one of the things I want to do is I want to create a letter to ChatGPT to have it make a description of a job, or excuse me, I'm going to have ChatGPT go through and create an introduction for me. And it's very simple. As you can see, my prompt is goofy. There's misspellings. I just type it like a normal person. So what it did, ChatGPT created a polished and approachable note to send Nate Caskey with an introduction. So here's a note that you can have that they wrote. They can change it. So one of the things I want to change is I haven't talked to Nate. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to change the prompt. It gives me the advice. So it changed the subject long time. Nate, it's been a while since Change Management Network days. I hope you've been doing well. One thing I would encourage you, just as a networking thing, a lot of people are like, my network has gone cold. I haven't talked to this person in 10 years. Don't worry about it. Still reach out to them. The worst that they cannot take away your birthday. The worst thing they can do is ghost you. Most people, I've had people that I've gone back 10 years, sometimes 12, 15 years, with whom I had a genuine connection. And I wrote notes and I've gotten replies and they've given me, these people have, put me in touch with jobs. So never let the fact that you haven't talked to anyone in a long time keep you for talking to them. A tip from me to you. So let's do this. So we're going to time travel. Are you ready? In our job journey, we've looked for careers based on our experience. We've gone to Google Career Dreamer to look for a job. We found a job description. We've gone to ChatGPT to look out for companies that have those jobs in that area. We realized that Blue Cross Blue Shield is a great area. We've gone to LinkedIn to look up people in our network that work at Blue Cross Blue Shield. And now we are back at ChatGPT. And we've just written our introductory note. So now we're going to time travel. I would like you to imagine that you talked to Nate. It was a great conversation. You had so much fun catching up. You asked for advice, not a job, but because, and you kept on asking for advice. You mentioned that there was a role, and he, because he liked you so much, agreed to get your resume in the hot little hands of the recruiter. He found out the name of the recruiter and passed it on with a recommendation, which takes it all the way past the applicant tracking system. It takes you past all that nasty computer stuff and takes you directly to the recruiter. The recruiter liked your resume and they called you for an interview. So here's what we're going to do next. We're going to use ChatGPT to prepare for our interview. And I'm pulling up the... So, oh, excuse me. Okay, I misspoke in the process. Go back in time. So so imagine that the interview went great for Nate. He saw a role that he thinks you would be a great contact for. So now you have, you're going to work at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Or you're going to look for jobs in Blue Cross Blue Shield. And now you need to get your resume in place. So this is a resume that Amy has given me, or this is a prompt that she gave me. This is a description of a job. I put the name of the job. She gave me the link to the job description and some questions she has about how to tailor her response. And I also add my resume. And then I hit plus. And look at that, ChatGPT has information. So it tells you and here's how you measure up. Here's the strategies you can use. So here's the strengths. You have a leadership and development strategy, executive partnership, on and on. Potential gaps to watch out for. There's 2 that are watch out. Strategies for positioning yourself, navigating hybrid requirements, differentiation. So it gives you some things to think about. Bottom line, you're a strong candidate. One thing you might want to also put in, though, is it has a bias for trying to please you. So I always ask it to give me the straight talk. Where you're a strong fit. And it gives me the list of the things from my resume why you're a strong hit. And then it also, here's the headwinds, here's the things you need to cover. And now I'm going to ask it, I'm just asking it to match what I have to do. Oh, it's not supposed to do that. Okay, so what it has done is it's redone the resume based on relevant to this job description. And it has changed it has tightened the information in my resume to fit the keywords that are in the description, or in the job description. Now, here's a point from an ethical standpoint. Sometimes ChatGPT wants you to get the job so badly that it changes things in your resume that are not true. It gives you skills that you actually don't have. So please do not take this resume, copy and paste it, and send it in without having looked at it. But it does give you a good place to start. So here's a changed resume. This is the rough content with all the new keywords mentioned that will help you get past ATS. And you can even make a description. It can give you a Word document. It's thinking. It takes a little longer to create the Word document. Na, 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 na. That's why it's taking so long. Oh, it's still thinking. Okay, it looks like, okay, here we go. Here's your tailored resume. So it gives you a resume that looks like that you can take a look at. And this resume is, again, it's faced to get the content. So you're going to need to shorten this. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT to bring it down to 2 pages. So it's not perfect. It's not that it's going to spit you out the first version right away. one of the ways to think of ChatGPT is it's a really smart and really enthusiastic intern. They will do tons of work for you, and they'll get you kind of like 80 to 90% there, but you need to check their work, and you're going to need to come back and ask them to do things to check through things. But what it's done again is it's now given me a job description that is much shorter. So this gives you a basic resume that takes the information from the job description and the keywords from the job description and marries it with the information in your resume. So again, you are about 80 to 90% all the way there to getting a resume that's going to get you through the ATS. So now we have our resume, and we've submitted it to the recruiter who loves us. The recruiter, now we need to prepare. The recruiter wants to have an informational interview with us. Woohoo! So what we do next is we can ask ChatGPT to help us prepare for the informational interview. So I have a prompt that I'm going to type in. And it gives me, so basically it gives me all the information that I would need to do the interview. It talks me through what a recruiter in an interview will cover, gives you a strategy, how to tell your career story, who you are. It helps you address the 2 gaps if they bring it up, what to know about the company, and questions you should ask. And it gives you even some scripts. I'm going to, and you know what I can also do? I can ask it, it's going to play, so absolutely, role play your recruiter interview. I'll play the recruiter, you play yourself. So now you can do a job interviews to make sure you're all prepared. So let me just show you how this happens. So I put in something silly just to see how it responds. And it says, that's a fun answer, but let's shift into interview mode. Recruiters want a tight professional thing. So it gives me a frame. So I would, okay. So it gives me a description of what I want to, what I could cover. It reacts to what I have to say. And you're able to have a really robust role play to be really clear and prepared for the interview with the recruiter. So now we're going to time travel again. So we've had the interview with the recruiter. It has gone brilliantly. And they've passed you on to the leader, who has also thinks you're wonderful. And we need to do our thank you note. So we go to our thank you note. And we're going to have ChatGPT write me a thank you note. And I want you to notice when I bring this chat on that there's several misspellings. ChatGPT doesn't care. It still knows what I'm talking about. And it writes me a thank you note. And it has the basic information. I'm going to put in so please mention the part that I love about detail orientation. It changes the note. And based on that, so I have the note from ChatGPT. I fire off the note to the leader. He thinks it's awesome. They make an offer. Woohoo! We've got an offer. The job doesn't stop there. ChatGPT can help me with salary. Great. So this is what you should know about the market. Senior Director of Talent Management at Boston Cambridge Biotech Market. The base salary is, is the salary. The bonus is what the bonus is. Gives me in-time intel. And then it gives me a strategy. Anchor on value, not need. User range, hybrid commute. And then script yourself for the HR. And again, okay, so we have our job and we end up with a job with a base pay of, let's say we negotiated well, of $200K. So we've got our job. Woohoo! Let's celebrate. Let's do a little dance. And now we've gotten our job using AI. And I have a little pop quiz for you. I'm switching decks. Sorry, we're jumping around so much. I'm going to give you the presentation with the layout of the process we just went through, including the links. Okay, now we have a pop quiz. I'd like you to write your answers in the chat, and Harry, if you can read them to me.
Will do.
Okay, in what 2 ways has job transition process changed in the past 5 years? What do people have to say? I mentioned 2 ways that it has changed. What did you remember?
Networking is more essential. And
yes, excellent. Networking is more essential. What else?
AI and networking.
Yes, okay, we've got some smarty pants in this group. You're getting it. All right. What's the most powerful thing I can do to navigate in the current reality?
Networking with folks at the companies using
yes.
AI and network. Absolutely.
Yes, you're
Can't
getting
emphasize that enough, right?
Yes, cannot emphasize that enough. Okay, next quiz. What surprised you about AI tools in the job search? What ahas did you get?
Salary.
Yep.
Role playing.
Role playing. Yep, you can use it for role playing.
I like that we can use it to with role play and practice, build network and with past companies and competitors.
Great. Great, you guys are getting it. So it's just an incredibly it's like force multiplier like you never seen. Okay, now that you've gone through this presentation, you've seen all the tools, you've seen how it can help you in the process. What's one action you're going to take to incorporate AI into your job search?
Put resume into ChatGPT.
Yep.
Role play for interviews.
Next, excellent. All right.
Interviews, introductions, role playing, conversations I'm not confident about.
Great.
Use it today for a job that I'm applying for.
Yay! And the job, it's going to go great, this job interview. Okay, so now we have a bonus question.
Career dreamer.
Bonus question, true or false? You are awesome. The world needs you in an awesome job, and you have the talent, knowledge, and tools to go out and get it. True or false?
True.
True, yes. True. All right, you got this. The world needs you in an awesome job. You've got the support to get it. And so do I. We've got this. Let's go out there and make the world a better place.
Sure, that was terrific. Many years ago now, when LinkedIn came on the scene, and the first few years it didn't quite have critical mass yet, but it gets more and more powerful every year. That became such a game changer for job search. LinkedIn wasn't created for job search, but it became such a game changer in terms of the information and the way of getting your information out there and finding people and learning about them and all kinds of different things. AI certainly is that kind of a game changer. And I've used it for so many things, but I'm not terribly creative. I forget to go to AI to ask it things that can help tremendously, but it's such a powerful tool and can be used in so many creative ways. And the only limitations is your own creativity in terms of what you can ask of AI. And like you showed, role playing and rewording things and coming up with thank you notes and responses to different things, researching different companies and salaries and all kinds of things like that. It's incredible. As you mentioned, you do have to proofread what you get because it will embellish your background or put things in that aren't necessarily true. So don't just take it verbatim, but what a great tool. And I've found myself using it more and more for all kinds of things. Even, and many of you that just, search things on Google, but Google now gives you the Gemini results first, right? And most of the time I can get answers to what I'm looking for just from the Gemini results and not have to go through the whole search results that come below that. And so what a fantastic way to get help there as well. Sherry, terrific. I know you're applying this stuff, and we talked before we got on today about successes you've had in reaching the right people and learning all kinds of things and getting access to places just because of you're applying this stuff yourself in your situation right now.
Thank you.
A lot of responses here in terms of thanks, how helpful it was, and great approach to follow, and using AI. Somebody's asking, are you using the paid or free versions of these tools?
I am using paid. ChatGPT is about 20. I'm using paid for ChatGPT. I feel it's $20 a month. I feel it is time well spent. It gives me more ability to do more chats. You can do pretty much all the same things on the free version, but it only allows you to do so many functions per day and hold on the chat. So I pay for it. You can do it for free. You can get a lot of mileage doing it for free, but for me, the $20 is well worth it. I also use it for, but the Google Career Dreamer is free. And Gemini, which is the other tool that does the career things, is a paid service, but or you can do it for free. Again, you can do it for free, and like most things, it's a freemium, and then you can get pretty far with that, and then there's a fee if you want to get the fancier version. And so I just signed up for Gemini. I'll tell you at the next webinar whether it was worth it, but the ChatGPT was totally worth it.
And I don't believe there's lengthy contracts. It's just month to month, right? I mean, so you can
really
use it for a
easy
month. If you're not finding the value, you can cut it off, but it gives you a chance to try it out. And I think, as you said, it certainly does pretty much everything in free. It just limits how many prompts you can give it each day, right? And so play with it first as you get more comfortable and decide that you want more, then you can decide, whether to get it free. I'm a big fan of free, obviously, and especially when you don't have an income, free is good, but use it as much as you can for free, and then you can decide, do I want more and be willing to pay for it or not. But these tools are so amazing. One of the things you didn't mention, which I do many times, whether it's I'm creating a email I want to send out to somebody, or if you're creating a resume or a letter or whatever, you can play with it a little bit and say, restate this letter in a more assertive tone, or restate it in as diplomatically as possible, or give it prompts in terms of what kind of language and tone the letter has, or the email, or whatever it is you're writing. And so, if your resume, write this as to come across more professionally than it is now, or whatever your prompts are. You can play with different ideas and see what it gives you. And again, proofread what you get, because it does. I noticed it does add things that you don't necessarily want in there, or that's not true. But it's a great way to help you rework maybe something you've written yourself.
One other thing that I want to mention about ChatGPT is that it's pulling information from all over the web. So when you're putting your information in, you are putting in information. It is not private information. So don't put in anything that, don't write a love letter with your name on it and the name of your beloved and your address, because that's now in the ether. So you don't know how it's going to be used.
When you cut and paste your resume in, you don't have to have your name and contact information at the top, just the content beyond that.
Exactly.
But powerful tools. It is a game changer. And like I say, my biggest limitation is just getting creative enough to think about what I can ask it. And I think we're going to see it become more and more powerful as time goes on. Just in the, what is it now, 2 years that ChatGPT really became prevalent on the scene. And I have noticed dramatic changes in how good it is now versus what it was, even a year ago. It just gets better all the time. And so use it extensively. Somebody asked, will this recording be available? I'll talk about that in a moment here, but all of our webinars go on to our YouTube page, and I'll have it posted there before the end of the day today. So you can review it as many times as you'd like, or fast forward through my talking on there and just listen to Sherry, or, you can skip back and forth. Is it true that ATS weeds out candidates that use AI? I've heard ATS knows that ChatGPT was used to create the resume, but not certain if this is something that to be concerned about. So, no, ATS.
Do you know, Harry?
Yeah, I do. ATS won't necessarily know, but many times, and this is where it really helps, I think, to tell ChatGPT to use a different tone. It often writes things the same way, and it's not necessarily that the ATS system is picking it out. It's the recruiter that sees the same wording in many resumes, that all clearly came from AI like that. And so it's you want to make it your own. So change up the wording, ask it to write it in a different tone or a different perspective or whatever. But you don't just want to take the first thing that comes out, because many times it's going to be very much the same as somebody else's resume. And so they see
it's going to get you 80% there.
Right.
So it's a really good starting place. I recently had, I've used it. I have a request for a proposal from a nonprofit. And so I used ChatGPT to create the proposal, but then I went back through and I made it my own. I changed the wording and clarified things. And you can also ask ChatGPT to change things like, hey, I want to put in something about, for one of the things I wanted to put in something about, adventure, and it put it in, and so you can change it in ChatGPT, or you can take it into a Word document and make the changes you need to make. But yeah, do not just send a resume or anything just straight from ChatGPT, because it does sound similar.
If you're creating a resume from scratch, or maybe you want to start over from scratch, but you can just freehand type in your background, from 2010 to 2015, I worked at such and such company. My title was this, and here are some of the things I did. Here are a couple things I accomplished, and just write it out as as it flows from your mind, and then tell it, please write a professional resume with an assertive tone to it, or whatever you choose. And limit it to 2 pages, and it'll create something. It might still need a little bit more reformatting, or and adjusting, but it'll create a great resume for you. And so, you don't have to. I know for so many people, it's so hard to come up with, how do I write this in a way that looks professional or sounds professional, and ChatGPT can do that for you. So you can just type in what what you're just whatever language or tone that you think of it, and it'll create a great document for you.
Thomas,
Anything else?
yes.
Go ahead.
I just saw the list. Yeah, it does. Yeah, take out your personal information before it goes in. Yes, right.
But Sherry had talked about thank you notes, and I think anybody you ask, is it a good idea to send a thank you note after an interview, everybody will generally say yes, but very few people do. Actually, it's less than 20% of people ever actually do it, and
Really?
something like that can set you apart. In fact, in many cases, it's a tiny handful of 5 or 10% of people actually send a thank you note. And I have seen situations, I've been a recruiter for 38 years, and I have seen situations where people got a job because there were 2 final candidates. It was kind of a coin flip. Well, this person followed up with some thank you notes and clearly wants to be here more. And so that's who got the job. And so don't let little things, details like that, be the thing that rule you out when in fact they might like you otherwise. And so do those things. And again, ChatGPT can be a great tool to help you write something. Be brief. Don't write long letters. They won't get read. It's going to give them pause in terms of can this person write or say things concisely. But use ChatGPT or some other AI tool to help you write those. Sherry, this was incredibly informative. I was wondering if you can put the woohoos into ChatGPT too to give you the encouragement throughout. Although that somebody did say you were very encouraging and upbeat about all this. I totally agree. It's worth. It's important to do that for yourself in this process, because it can be, as we talked about earlier, it can be such an emotional roller coaster. And so celebrate the wins. Don't get overly excited until you have an offer in hand. I think one of the biggest mistakes people do many times in their job search is that they're in final interviews on a job and they're convinced they're going to get it, and so they're not networking anymore. They're not reaching out or applying to additional jobs. They're not pursuing anything else, and then that job falls through. If you're a final candidate or in final interviews, chances are they have a second person in final interviews too. So one of you is going to get disappointed. And so always keep plugging away as much as you can until you have that offer in hand. And so, but you need to celebrate along the way, because it can be, nothing ever moves as quickly as you'd like, and it can be discouraging and all kinds of things. With that, I want to move on. And
before you move on, I have just one logistical note. I have put my LinkedIn my LinkedIn profile link into the chat. If you want to have a copy of the presentation that I used, let me know, and I'll go ahead and email it to you. It has a list of, we went through a lot of information, but it has a list of the process and then the links to the tools that we use today. Perfect.
Thanks for offering that. Is it worth acknowledging AI summary in file names? No, I would not. I'm assuming you're talking about things that you send out to a company. I would not. It's not going to help you for them to know that it's coming from AI. And so you don't want to call that out. But again, don't just take the AI result. Make sure that you customize it for yourself or change it up a little bit. Terrific. Well, thanks so much, Sherry. Really appreciate it. You've been a wealth of information and given me a number of things to think about how to get more creative with this too. I always tell people I'm not a very creative person, but I recognize a good idea when I see it and I'll use it. So this really helped a lot from that perspective. Let me switch gears here a little bit. I'll share my screen. I want to run through other things that are available through Crossroads and have you take advantage of as much as you can. Everything we do is free. I talked to somebody last night. We started a new class and she was asking, well, how much does this class cost? And it's nothing. We are a volunteer run organization. I'm incredibly grateful for a number of people that volunteer in one way or another. Sherry has volunteered for a few years here now, and appreciate all that she does. She does beyond presentations like this. She's helped with workshops and other things we do, but we don't charge. There are fees for some things for the class. We have a book and you need to buy a copy of your own, but even that if cost is an issue from you participating in anything, please let us know. In everything we do where there is any cost involved at all, we will provide it for free if that's an issue for you. We don't want anybody to miss out on the resources and help and opportunities because of cost of anything. But 99.9% of everything we do has no cost involved at all. And so let me run through everything that we offer through Crossroads is listed on our website at mncrossroads.com. And so I encourage you to check it out, peruse the different pages on there and see everything that's available. We have detailed information about job search in all kinds of ways. There's a resources page. We have all our upcoming events listed with information on how to take advantage of those. We also have a job board. So if you're local here in the Twin Cities area, there's a number of companies that know what we do, and they post positions out there. It's not as populated, obviously, as Indeed or LinkedIn or anything like that, but they, when you apply or of things mentioned that you found out about it through Crossroads, they do pay attention to that, and they keep advertising jobs because they're finding great people and that participate in Crossroads. So check it out regularly, take advantage of that, but see everything else that's available on our website. Kind of our cadence is a mix of in-person things we do here locally, and then the online things that we have available. Our webinars or seminars each month. On the first Thursday of each month, we have a seminar at Grace Church in Eden Prairie in the first Thursday morning, and we have our networking group that meets in person on that first Thursday. We have somebody that comes in and talks about financial considerations during job transition. And we try to do a micro job fair. We often have anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 companies that come in to be available for you to talk to about positions that they might have open. And so that's the next one is going to be coming up. I believe it's September 4th, whatever the first Thursday is in September. And I'll talk more about that in a couple of minutes. But if you're here locally in the Twin Cities area, certainly invite you to take advantage of that. As much as I'm grateful for us to be able to do things online, it's still better when you can be in person and have side conversations with people, build relationships, get a better sense of what's going on, and get some encouragement from others as well. So plug in, take advantage of that. The second Thursday evening of each month, we do a seminar presentation in Woodbury on the other side of the metro, and take advantage of that if you're on that part of town as well. And different topics, so you can go to all of them. And then the third Thursday morning of each month is an online webinar that you're on right now. And so we have different topics each month, and you can take advantage of this as often as you'd like as well. All the details are always on our website. If you go to the seminars page, you'll see what topics and speakers are coming up, and take advantage of as many of those as you can. On a weekly basis, we have a number of ways you can plug in. Our Networking with Grace, our networking group, meets each week. The first Thursday of the month is in person at Grace Church, as I mentioned a moment ago, but then every following Thursday each month is online through a Zoom meeting. And so you can take advantage of that as often as you'd like. And for the Zoom meetings, you do need to register online. Go to the networking page on the website, and you'll see all the details there on how that works. And you can plug in. It's a great way to get contacts and leads and companies and ideas from other people, and share information with others that you know as well. And it's supportive. Wes Tang is our leader for that. He generally leads that each week, and he's been out of town here for the last couple of weeks, but he's back, and will actually be leading it starting at 9 o'clock this morning. So you can still jump onto the website, register, and get plugged in for this morning if you still want to do that. We have one-on-one coaching available. We have a number of volunteers that are available for you to reach out to. If you fill out the form requesting a coach on our website, somebody will reach out to you to set up a time for a Zoom meeting or a phone call to be able to talk through anything you'd like to discuss in your job search, whether it's help taking a look at your resume, whether it's preparing for an interview or mock interview practice, or just talking through where things are at, maybe get some new networking ideas or something else. They're very supportive. They have some great insight, and you can take advantage of that as often as you'd like. big believer in prayer and spiritual support. And we do have a team that is just praying for you in general all the time. But if you have specific prayer requests, go to our page on the website, put it in there, and they'll be praying for you. If you feel like things have been tough, you need more spiritual or emotional support beyond that, our soul care group can reach out to you. You can fill out the form online for that or request that through email. And somebody will reach out to you to talk about setting up a regular time to meet for a while to talk through whatever support you need from that perspective. The meat and potatoes, though, of what we offer are online classes. We have small group classes. It's an 8-week class generally. Sometimes, depending on which facilitator we have, it might be 5 or 6 weeks, or it might be a little bit more. But it covers every aspect of an effective job search, starting with attitude and getting in the right frame of mind, and assessments and networking and targeting companies, and best practices for resumes and interviewing, negotiating, selecting, and much more. And I think as much as the content is so important and helps you make sure you're focusing on the right things for your job search, I think the weekly light accountability and encouragement, moral support is equally important. Is just knowing that you're not an island, that others are in the same boat, and getting some fresh ideas and encouragement for the next week can make such a difference. And throughout the 8 weeks, we talk about God's perspective of your job search and your life as well. And so encourage you to take advantage of that. I just started a new one. We have a new class starting each month. I just started a new one last night, but if you still want to jump in for the second week, you can do that. You go to the website for the classes page. You'll see all the details there. Email me through there, and you can still join us. Otherwise, I will get shortly here. I'll get posted. We've going to have another class starting in September as well. But really encourage you to take advantage of that. Even if you've been in a class before, each of our facilitators comes at it from a different perspective. It's the same material, but everybody has additional information that they add on their own, different style. And so you can take it again if you'd like as well. So really check that out and sign up. It's going to be a great way for you to get ongoing help with your job search. Our LinkedIn group is really important. If you put in MN Crossroads Career Network in LinkedIn in the search box, you'll find 2 things. One is our company page, and I encourage you to follow that. But then also our LinkedIn group, where we've got upwards of 3,000 people that stay in there. We've had over 12,000 people come through LinkedIn over the years. But in this group are people that have landed in jobs and are willing to be networking contacts at the organizations they're at. So you can look through the people that are members of the groups, where they're working, and if it's someplace that you want to pursue, you can reach out to them and get some advice and insight, and possibly referrals from them as well. And then you can be a resource to somebody else after you've landed in a new job as well. And there's a lot of other good information that gets posted there too. So take advantage of the LinkedIn group. As I'm hearing myself, I say take advantage a lot, but you should, because I think trying to do this alone is such a hard process and emotionally draining. And so plug in, get community support, as well as great tactics and strategies and fresh ideas for your search, and do that on a regular basis. But our LinkedIn group is one place you can do that. All of our webinars that we've had since the pandemic and during the pandemic, and since then, the one a month we do now, is all posted on our YouTube channel. And so if you put MN Crossroads Career Network in the search box in YouTube, you'll find us there, and you can find all kinds of different topics. This webinar will get posted before the end of the day today, so then you can review it as many times as you'd like there, and find all kinds of other topics that you can that can be helpful for you there too. I just want to acknowledge we actually have over 40 people that volunteer for Crossroads in one way or another. This is only some of them, but we can't do all the different things we offer through Crossroads without all their help. And so we have people that volunteer in all kinds of different ways. Some as logistics, some as coaches, some as presenters, some as all kinds of different things that we need to get done, class facilitators, etc. And so I'm grateful for every one of them. Nobody's getting a paycheck. They all do it because they have expertise in this area, and that they're willing to help others and have a heart to reach out and be a resource. And so I'm grateful to do that. for them to do that. If you don't have a church home, I encourage you to take advantage of one of the churches that participates in Crossroads, whether it's Grace Church or Woodbury Lutheran. You can find details online and see streaming services, but certainly encourage you to come in person as well. Our next seminar is going to be in person at Grace Church in Eden Prairie, September 4th. And this is going to be a really great one. Nathan Perez is author of the book, The 20-Minute Networking Meeting. And if you're thinking about, well, how do I do a good networking meeting to be productive and get help from others? This will give you a great framework to do that. Really encourage you to come and check him out. He actually did a webinar for us not long ago, a few months ago, but is going to be in person in Eden Prairie on the first Thursday of September. And so come do that. Really glad that you joined us this morning. I hope it was worthwhile. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me through the website, and I'm glad to follow up anytime. And hope to see you at other events. I also hope that you land a job and don't have to come to any of our other events, but get as much help as you can. Thanks for joining us this morning, and see you again soon. And
bye, everyone. Go be brilliant.
take care.